Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you've been having a great weekend. And believe it or not, we've got another set of updates to go over regarding this ongoing situation with a number of SAG-AFTRA voice actors and how they've been getting a ton of backlash from the internet at large, but especially the Genshin Impact community, who has done a great job of exposing these people. This is now like the fourth video I've made on this topic, the last three all around 15 to 19 minutes long or so. And at this point in time, there's just way too much to recap here in the intro without being like extremely long-winded and redundant. So hopefully you are in the loop with what's been going on, but if you don't know about any of this stuff, please consider watching my prior videos. And or you can even just go to like the Genshin Impact subreddit, look at the top posts from the last week, and scrolling through that you should see plenty of information, although some of those posts were apparently getting mass reported by the defenders of these corrupt VAs to try and get the information taken down and censored. It does seem like since then some of those posts have actually been reinstated by the Genshin Impact moderators though, but just know that's been an ongoing issue too. Alright, so thanks for your patience. Now on to the new stuff. We're going to start with something very amusing. I think you guys are going to find this hilarious. So I got this tag from Enthusiasm. Thank you for the tag. And it says, "Hey Hero Hey, check this out. Absolute cinema of failed damage control." And that takes us to a top post on our Genshin Impact from 14 hours ago titled, "A voice actor came on Reddit arguing why Jacob," that being Jacob Takanashi, the new VA for Kenichi / Mihoyo, were in the wrong. Mihoyo, of course, referring to like Hoyoverse, Genshin Impact, etc., etc. After having all their points refuted, they, the voice actor, deleted their entire account.
Surprise.
Yeah, go figure. It's even worse than that, though, because this person originally went to our Genshin Impact trying to do this damage control and it didn't work there. Everyone calling him out and exposing his lies. Then he went over to the Gacha Gaming subreddit and tried it there, where the Gacha Gaming community at large also exposed this person's lies. People then claim that they tracked down this VA's Blue Sky account, and on the Blue Sky account we'll take a look at in a moment, we can see that VA saying that the whole Genshin Impact subreddit deserves to be banned, and also reposting posts from other Blue Sky VAs that are essentially advocating for non-union VAs to get harassed. We'll get to all that. First, let's take it from the top. So he makes this attempted damage control post filled with a bunch of misleading information and gaslighting. The exact same stuff these people have already tried over the last few days that we already talked about here on the channel has been refuted over and over again. And so going right to the top responses to him, we can see comments like this. "Why does every voice actor or SAG shill come here with, but did you know Taft-Hartley? Do you think it'll magically solve all our concerns?" Like anyone who reads one single thread regarding VA drama in the sub is aware of Taft-Hartley and how complicated it actually is, the 3-time limit in 90 days and so on. Yet they chime in thinking we know nothing about Taft-Hartley. How ignorant are they? Koi went dead silent when they asked about that. Funniest stuff ever. Not only that, his sign first, negotiate later comment, like buddy, that's not how it works. You negotiate the terms first, so both parties know what they are signing and what is expected of each of them. Funny how they all say the exact same thing, almost like they received a guide telling them what to say in their posts, then disappear when they're asked the problematic—
There's that one actor that keeps on tweeting about it, and every single one of her tweet is getting community notes and a bunch of people angry. Like, at this point, maybe, I don't know, it's not helping the negotiations to keep on tweeting. If you're gonna negotiate with the union or, like, the company, just do that. Take it off social media.
Questions. They're 100% receiving their talking points from SAG-AFTRA. They always say, "Stop spreading misinformation," and "This is for AI protections," but then don't elaborate when asked further questions or are vague about it. Like, what? It's you guys spreading misinformation. They sound like freaking robots at this point, regurgitating the same spiel every time. The voice actor who made this post is probably reading this right now and getting people to report this post as we speak. Edit, Sean Laraway, the poster, changed his Blue Sky description to "Genshin Impact is cringe" because he's all mad. This is peak comedy. Link for anyone who wants a chuckle. It always ends with them trashing on the game. This is childish. Yeah, another great example of this recently was Shara Kirby and her giant rant she made on Blue Sky. And so speaking of Blue Sky, let's hop over to the Blue Sky account linked in that Reddit post, where people allege that's the VA who made that whole damage control thing over on Reddit. Here's the post I was mentioning earlier. He says, "The Genshin Impact subreddit deserves to be banned at this point."
No,
freaking hilarious and pathetic, of course. And then he's also reposting this Blue Sky post from another voice actor that reads, "Much like how a tolerant group must still be intolerant towards intolerance, a cornerstone of union culture is making sure that scabs, regardless of any sort of legal justifications for what they did, feel constant scorn, shame, and derision for willingly betraying their fellow workers."
So a scab, is that a term for somebody who, like, crosses the picket line or whatever you call it? derision for willingly betraying their fellow. Jeez.
Piss off. He then continues to rage and then reference Jacob Takanashi, insulting the dude, and basically trying to get people to harass him. But then you really had voice actors like Little Karibo and Kiba Walker the other day, basically trying to say that, oh, no voice actors are trying to get you harassed, Jacob. That's not happening. Meanwhile, now they're the ones trying to play victim.
Dude, that voice, the Paimon voice actress is under a lot of heat right now.
Many people viewing this as a desperate attempt at further damage control, seeing how the narratives that they've been trying to spin have completely shattered and how much public goodwill they've lost. And so ultimately the VA, who made that Genshin Impact post that completely flopped, that people are alleging is that Larway person, then ran over to the Gacha Gaming subreddit to make basically the same post, trying to damage control there, but it turns out public reception is the same.
It's a slur for non-union workers getting jobs that union workers could have. Oh shit, I didn't know. What are you guys fighting about in chat? Can you be nice to each other? Jacob Takanashi is not part of the unions that are mad. That's the one that's from Japan that joined, I assume. And I think now, latest I heard, anyway, let's just keep watching the video.
Over on Genshin Impact, with people calling out his nonsense, and top comments like, anytime a random VA appears to explain the so-called AI protection, quote-unquote, they completely disappear and refuse to say anything once you bring the issue of interim agreement that they want to force companies to sign. I wonder why. Edit, I woke up and he already deleted his account, as expected, lol. He went to the Genshin Impact subreddit, got all of his points refuted, deleted his account, then changed his Blue Sky description to Genshin Impact is cringe. Quick side note, I thought he went to Genshin Impact and then Gacha Gaming, but maybe it was the other way around. Either way, same outcome, you get the point. And then this response to that says, absolutely loser behavior. Another top comment.
There's no conclusion to this, it's still going, because that one VA, the one with like the pink-haired PFP, keeps on tweeting, like as I said, and now the Paimon VA made a TikTok where she looks like, she sounds crazy. It's not, they're not winning the public opinion fight.
Reading. I'm pretty sure they received talking points from SAG to gaslight us that joining them is for the greater good. Gee, that phrase sounds familiar, and it doesn't have any malicious undertones behind it. Anyways, because of them attacking Jacob and labeling him a scab, Genshin Impact players developed the legendary skill of literacy and decided to do what they want, which...
I mean, I think it's kind of like, you know, that journal that made the Vice article on VLR. If they wanted to get people on their side, they kind of went all the wrong ways about it. And now, because they're so condescending, that now it's provoked the opposite effect.
Is to do some research. Too bad what we were able to find when combing the agreement is malicious and sounds like they want to monopolize the entire EN dubbing space. And since the genie is now out of the bottle, they're trying really hard to convince us that it's good for a VA to join the Film Actors Guild. And no, it's not a monopoly. Stop looking at our documents. There's shooting yourself at the foot, and then there's blowing yourself up with a bazooka. And finally, going back to Sean Laraway's Blue Sky account, we can see the bio now reads, "We'll always pick on scabs." Oh yeah, wow. These people are so brave, having a giant union like SAG-AFTRA backing them and their whole clique as they pick a single individual, Jacob Takanashi, to bully and harass. This is all going so poorly for the union voice actors that there's now top posts on Genshin Impact like this one from just 1 hour ago saying if half of the characters get recast, then so be it. I used to be for the VA strike in that AI was the initial threat to their livelihoods. Now as the truth unfolds, this whole strike is just a Trojan horse for Western companies to stick their grubby little hands into a piece of the pie. This outburst from specific VAs is no coincidence. They've probably been feeling this way for a while, and now that there is an outlet, they thought this would be a great chance to rally the troops. Well, now it has completely backfired, and the only thing to show is that some of these VAs are petty and completely unprofessional. Yeah, quick side note, that's something a lot of us have known for years about the Western VA industry, but it's good that more people are becoming aware of that, so continuing. Most VAs are considered lucky to work on a consistent project.
I mean, I guess it's theater kids, you know? It's given me the Rachel Ziegler vibes.
That is aimed to last for several years, and you're a recurring character. I'd say that Hoyo has waited long enough, and the gloves should come off. If half the characters get recast, then so be it. I would rather see Hoyo put their foot down and put a halt to the EN dubbing side, sort out the VAs that are still upholding their professionalism, and get rid of the rest. We don't need that toxicity here. It's already bad enough that the game gets enough of a divided reputation. Now the VAs are not helping. They need to go. It's all fun and games until EN players stop spending because the characters are inconsistently voiced. Now that we know what's really going on, it's safe to say they are already doing that. A top comment reading, do a power play. Realize you don't have any power. All of your VAs get recast. Video game companies will now hire non-union VAs to avoid you. Huh? It makes one wonder what the heck SAG-AFTRA was thinking about going against the $187 billion a year industry that can and will hire VAs from other countries. The video game industry is not Hollywood. Well, the sad fact of the matter is a lot of the Genshin Impact community for a while was supporting these VAs and their agenda without questioning anything. Like, it was going well for them for a minute there. It's really over the last 6 to 4 months or so where things began to start crumbling for them. That's basically when the cracks started to appear as more and more people began to look into what was really going on. And then more recently with the harassment of Jacob Takanashi, that's...
Also, Jacob Takanashi, I think, has made a statement where he's like, in some cases, he's like saying they're also upset at him because he said that in some cases he's worked with some agencies where they've cloned his voice because it's gonna happen regardless. So he was like, I might as well get paid for it. And that's an option to clients and companies that have like less budget. However, he says that no one's buying it and that he believes that, people want the human touch, but it gives him passive income.
That's what really caused everything to reach this boiling point, facilitating the overall community to turn against these union voice actors. And the last thing that we'll take a look at in this video is SAG-AFTRA themselves, over on Twitter. The official account for SAG-AFTRA trying to publicly drum up some support as they reach out to Genshin Impact, saying, what Anaris Q said, at Genshin Impact, at Honkai Star Rail, at ZZZ, we'll make it easy for you. Here's a link to our interactive/video game media agreements. Let's talk soon, a wink. Following the recurring theme that we've seen so far, this also ended up going terribly for them as they got this community note added to it, which reads, this agreement has severe limitations on how MiHoYo can work with non-union voice actors, including a lifetime time...
Yeah, I'm against... I do think there should be protections against AI for VAs, not only for them, but for us as consumers. What people are claiming is that there's more at play here. It seems to be like a complicated topic, perhaps more than what we're seeing. And I think to get to the bottom of it, we're gonna need a little more than like these surface level videos. However, this is like, entertaining enough for now.
Time limit for the voice actor and eventually forcing the voice actor to either join the union, which has large entry costs and fees, or stop working on the project. SAG-AFTRA had also used this message from Anaris, as we saw, quote tweeting it. So let's check out that message too.
I think most unions are pay to join. Are there union, because they're not working for free, they're working to do your rights, but their fee is a lot higher than the other fees I've seen. But yeah, it works like that. Most unions, you'll have to pay a fee to join, and they usually, like, at least in some industries, they'll make sure that they'll only hire union workers. Those fees are extremely high. And I don't know how you manage that worldwide. Like, I've seen unions locally work that way. Sometimes they even send like inspectors out of the blue to check if you're complying with the union stuff. And they will stop your productions if you're not complying. Like, sometimes they're really annoying. But sometimes they also, the companies would get away with a lot more if the unions weren't there. So it really is like a back and forth, and it's about like striking a balance between the two. That's why I'm saying I think there's a lot of nuance in this topic. But again, the easiest thing for me to comment on is simply the VA's reaction and their portrayal on Twitter. So I think this is what I'll focus on for this video. Do unions demand a lump pay upon first joining? The ones I don't want to say too much, but the ones that I'm accustomed to do, yes. But you get other perks, like they'll provide for your retirement fund, things like that. There's like perks that come into it. At the end of the day, you should be able to offset that. I don't know how the SAG-AFTRA work. Maybe it's different. Maybe it is unfair. I don't know. That's why I'm saying the only thing that I can comment on really is the VA's behavior and like unhinged behavior on Twitter. And I'll like maintain my point that I don't think they're going about it the right way. I don't think they're turning anybody to be sympathetic to their cause, etc.
Actress Anaris Q saying, Hey Genshin Impact at Honkai Star Rail at ZZZEN. We English VAs would love to get back.
Yeah, the retirement pay comes from the company, but the union is forcing them to match that, to put that retirement pay into your fund, because otherwise you're just a freelance worker and you're not getting any retirement pay. At least for the one I know. This could be completely different again. Like, that's what I'm saying. It would require a lot more research than we can dive in like a 10-minute video. I also would like to get like somebody that's in the industry's opinion. That's like, that's not from the Genshin Impact community.
To work. I know the fans miss hearing their fave Karas, and we miss voicing them. Please negotiate with SAG-AFTRA and sign the interim agreement to guarantee AI protections for us. That message also getting the community note, which points out how, yeah, there's a lot more to all this than just...
You can make a full video on... Again, like, I thought about it.
Soventisba made a song to Sata Paimosba.
Oh yeah, I saw the diss track, yes. I thought about it, but again, I feel like it's gonna require a lot of research. If I do it, I want to go into there with like an objective mindset. I don't want to buy immediately into the, outrage like everybody would expect me to do, because that's kind of just the easy, karma points. Perhaps the outrage is justified. I'm not saying it's not, but I need to look into this for myself first.
Just the AI protections that these people seem to keep trying to manipulate the public sentiment with, and getting responses such as
I don't know if
Madam
Armchair will have the answers I'm looking for either. Like, I've watched already 3 videos about it when the SAG-AFTRA stuff was announced like months ago. This dates from over a year ago. And still, it's like everybody's saying different things. So I don't know what to believe anymore.
Abby saying, so how's the community note feel? And TKA Dem saying, don't they have to drop all non-union VAs when they sign the agreement? As well as this one from Jasper saying, what's your take on the VAs who bully and verbally assault other VAs? And Neris making this follow-up tweet that then says, there's way too many bad faith comments and misinfo. So for now, please refer to this thread for correct information. I concur with everything stated. And linking to a thread by Koi Dao, which many people have also refuted and we've discussed in previous videos. Which, by the way, this whole SAG-AFTRA tweet thing happened on March 26, so I'm a bit late to covering this one, my apologies. And the last thing to take note of really quick is that despite some voice actors, like the really angry ones that we discussed earlier in the video, it seems like a lot of the VAs who've been publicly talking about this stuff have gone radio silent over the last 24 to 48 hours. It's rather interesting. Perhaps they're trying to come up with their next line of rhetoric or something. Or maybe it's just coincidence that they all began to go radio silent at the same time, all dealing with the loss of goodwill in their own ways. Who knows for sure? Yeah, let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my coverage.
Maybe Mujin
and if
will
you
make a
did,
video
please
of it.
consider liking and or subscribing to the channel.
I want to see the unhinged shit they've been saying. I know this is pretty recent, claiming that she's stalking the guy's Jacobs. Genshin English VAs are fucked. Isn't it interesting that they talk about Jacob Takanashi attacking him or harassing him? It's okay, but when people call out said toxic VAs, that's where they draw the line. This is one small job for him, not his full-time work. It's Karina's bread and butter. He's done very little VO work, so it isn't what he's relying on to pay the bills. For all we know, his wife's the breadwinner. Either way, they bought a house recently, so I doubt it was a necessary job for survival. Like, how does she know all of that? It's all good. I like your work generally. However, I think that talking very deliberately about a colleague's financial situation in a public way is not something that looks good. Yes. She's literally pocket watching his house purchases. Ain't no way. English VAs will generally never recover from... Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, they are sinking their reputation. This is Rachel Ziegler attitude right here, man. I think dude, my whole time, like I bookmarked so many shit, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do research into that. I'll look more into that, and I don't. So, and I didn't have the time, but I can pull up some stuff and we can laugh about it. oh, I found the Paymon's VA. It's like kind of funny because she has like a very high voice.
It'd be interesting to see how PPL react when the Japanese bus union is about to go into strike against Tyson.
Yeah. Do you think that, they are going into a strike? There might be more sympathy for that. I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing. If voice actors, both non-union and union, in a video game want a game to go union, the game should go union. Nobody else's opinion matters.
She does the crazy eye. Okay, this is not a good frame for her. The pause is doing her dirty.
That's
I'm sorry.
it. And YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors.
Okay, I can see how the voice is the voice of Paimon though. It sounds like me when my stream lagged out and I had like the chipmunk voice. And I did Boat Goes Binted! Any stands on the SAG-AFTRA thing. I'm just laughing at them because they're funny. They're like, I feel like she's a Karen, okay? I'm sorry to say that, but this is the vibes I'm getting.
And YouTubers don't know anything. YouTubers don't know anything. They're not voice actors. They've never been in my industry. They don't know what my industry is about. They don't know anything about SAG. They don't know anything about being a non-union actor either. Stop telling me to go to liars.
Okay, she scares me so much. She's scary. What the fuck?
Liars. They are paid to lie to you. Also, I'm sorry. They have more incentive to lie. They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that. Hello? God forbid. I want my industry to actually, like, I don't know, function and that everybody gets paid and everybody gets, like, healthcare. Did you know that, like, once things become union, people get paid a lot more? So people are like, oh, but, you know, then some non-union actors will have to join the union. Yeah, they'll be able to easily because they'll get paid more. Also, there are options that the union has to help pay for those things. There are options to help people pay for the union dues within SAG, but you don't know that. Oh my god, it's almost like you're not an actor. It's almost like you're not a...
She's really, really emotional about this. Holy shit. It feels offensive to laugh at her. She's doing the crazy eyes. That's not her normal eyes. Her normal eyes aren't like that. If I'm looking at you like this, and I'm going near the camera, I'm like, you guys are gonna fucking listen to me? I can't believe you're saying that, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna say I have crazy eyes too. This is not you being relaxed. You're doing the crazy eyes. This is not who should be their spokesperson. Put somebody that's better spoken, please.
A voice actor. And neither are these YouTubers. But bottom line is that both non-union actors and union actors in a video game want it to go union and have wanted it to go union for a long time. So nobody else's opinion that is super fucking wrong anyway matters. Hope this helps.
Oh my god. Hope this help. Okay. She is scary. It feels like she's given me neighbor vibes that's gonna like rage at me because my dog barked a little too much. I had an encounter like this, and ever since then I am scared of Karens. Like, they terrify me. You're just like, okay, okay, and they yell, okay, that's okay. An encounter that makes it sound paranormal. I mean, it almost is. If you're like at an energy level that's 2 and somebody barges in and forces you to listen to their like verbal vomit and their energy levels at 12, I'm just immediately gonna check out. I briefly met her at a convention a couple years ago. She seemed pretty nice. I won't see her the same after the strike drama though. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, that sucks when something like this kind of breaks your image of somebody. I mean, we all struggle with being a little too over emotional sometimes. Being too dismissive. I can act pretty bratty sometimes too. I'm joking. That was cringe. But yeah, this ain't it. They need somebody else to be their spokesperson. I'm just gonna say that. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. And I'll see you in the next video.